Good morning, YPC League. We're going to do the Week 5 wrap-up. Let's start with our champion, Uncle Rubes versus Sheepy. Uncle Rubes, unfortunately, you got the loss this week, putting you at 2-3. Sheepy going to 3-2, 144.2 to 115.5. Looking at everything, the story here is Marquise Colson with 43.1. Nice, very nice. Uncle Rubes, what are you going to do? Your backs don't produce. You already know that. I'm looking at this. It's the first thing that jumps out at me. And you're not going to start Daniels over Gronk. Gronk's going to get the start every week. The vet move of the week here, you love Crabtree, and you're going with him. You stick with him. He scores you 26.3. It's a vet move. You stick with your starters. You stick with who you think are going to be your starters, and you go with it. Unfortunately, I didn't get to the win this week. Alex Smith on the bench with 45.1. You're not going to start him over Eli. Unless you get a gut, then you go with it. Sheepy, nice job with the win. Uncle Rubes, unfortunately, you get the loss. Let's go to the next game here. We got Busta versus Ruben. Ruben scores 179. He's a quiet 4-1. That's what I'm saying. Ruben is flying under the radar at 4-1 and quietly scoring some serious points with Drew Brees again, 47.5. Almost double digits from everybody except for Torrey Smith, which is a surprise, and Fred Jackson. He went up against San Francisco. So an impressive 122. That's a decent score. Unfortunately, Chris Johnson's not panning out, and Donald Brown gets hurt, which is a drag. Bus is opposite of Rue at 1-4. I'm trying to see if there's anybody on the benches here. I mean, Ruben's got the bye quarterback coming up with Andrew Luck, who scored 39.5 on the bench. Nice job. Congrats on the win, Rue. Next, we got Tookie scoring 208.7, second highest on the season. Tookie's nice job. Dennis, you scored the week low of 72.6, so we're going to give you the gas face this week. Robert Griffiths gets hurt. What are you going to do? Who would have thought? It's just one of those things that compounds everything because you got Pierre Thomas scoring 9 and Jackie Battle scoring 3.7. Romo was on a bye. So what are you going to do? You can play coulda, shoulda, woulda if you would have kept Foster and not made the trade, but I get where you're going with that. Tookie, you scored doubles everywhere. Tookie goes to 2-3. Highview goes to 1-4. Next, sorry, we got a little too long of a gas face here, a little stinky. Back to Uncle Ruben's game and Sheepy's game. That was the closest game this week. I think it was 29, I think is what it was, which is the closest game. All the other games were blowouts, with a lot of points scored this week. The game of the week, which was Lions Den versus Dirty. Dirty's got the triplets. There's really nothing we can do or you can do when the triplets, the lowest are going to score with Ray Rice's lowest season score, which is 15.8. To me, the difference maker here was Peyton and Tom Brady. Brady scores 31 points as a team, but he gets 23 fantasy points. Peyton scores 21 and gets 37.2 fantasy points. The backs are going to score their points. Victor scores 28. They battle back and forth, but with triplets like that as an OP, having a nice running back like that at the OP, it could spell some interesting things going down the road. See Nick versus Uncle Ben. Benji, the biggest thing here was Ben Roethlisberger didn't show up. You got 99.6 versus 153.1. Nick goes to 3-2. Ben goes to 2-3. The thing here that stands out to me is Jamal Charles' team scores 6 points, yet he gets 22 fantasy points. James Jones scores 20. I mean, you had a nice productive outing, Nick. 150 is going to usually get you the win, which it did. Uncle Ben, 0 from Greg Little. I know how it is to get 0 on your roster. It's not cool. And it's just one of those things. It's going to happen. You just got to learn to deal with the adversity and just work through. Give you a little bit of this, a little smoke. I know how it is. We might as well leave that because we're going to go from that to my game, to the next game, which is Nick got the win there. Ben got the loss, 2-3 versus Nick at 3-2. The next game, me and Jimmy, I get 0 from Andre Brown. It's just a bummer. It's the way it goes. You got to deal with it. It's fantasy. Jimmy, nice win. Production from everybody. The big story here was Reggie Wayne, 45.2. I mean, that's a great outing. And where our defenses went back and forth, some of our receivers went back and forth, getting 0 from Brown and 8.8 from Flacco and 2.5 from Andre Johnson, who's supposed to be an elite receiver. Kick my ass. Nice job, Ben. Nice job, Jimmy. You go to 4-1. I'm at 1-4. What are you going to do? It's still early in the season. Still can make a run for the playoffs, so I'm not worried. I'm not too concerned. We just got to regroup. All the 1-4s, and all the 4-1s are in a nice spot. They could go on a 3-game skid and be right at 500 very quickly. So, don't lose faith, gentlemen. This is a long season. We're going to be reaching our halfway point after week 6, obviously. So just keep it up. Just work those waiver wires. Do what you can. Try to get in there. I mean, in one snap, you could lose your starter. Breeze could be down. These big elite triplets of Breeze, they could get hurt. You never know. And touching on the trade real quick, I mean, it is what it is. It can go either way. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, so Foster gets hurt, and then RG3 goes off. You never know. Then it's just one of those things. There's been 3 trades this season. I think they've all been fair. That being said, I would have never done the trade looking at Rudy's roster, but I don't look at rosters. I look at players and see, that's it. So, thank you, gentlemen. Good luck this week. Watch the bye weeks and Thursday night game, Pittsburgh versus Titans. Peace.